Hello, Texans. As you can tell, I'm accompanied by two wonderful ladies, the Miss Mary Howard and Diane Tidwell, and they are here today to talk about the Cowboy Capital Multiple Sclerosis Trail Ride. How are you doing today, ladies?
Very good, thank you.
Okay. Go ahead.
Well, I'm Mary Howard, one of the co-chairs, and I've been involved in the MS Trail Ride all 21 years. This is our 21st year this year, and I'm involved in it because my husband has MS. There are 5 children in his family, and 3 of the 5 have it, and they have a cousin that has it. So my hope is that we raise funds to fund research so that the next generation in this family will not go through the suffering that all of these have gone through. The tendency to have it is in the families. They do not know the cause or the cure, but if one generation has it, the next generation has the great tendency to have it also.
And I'm Diane Tidwell, and I've also been involved in this trail ride for 21 years, but my involvement started kind of innocently. I just like to ride, and I have friends that like to ride, and 1997 was the first ride, and a friend of mine said, "Hey, I'm going on a trail ride, you want to go too?" And I said, "Oh, okay." So I joined them, and we came out and had a trail ride. I didn't even realize what it was all about, and that it was a fundraiser or anything, so we just had a fun. And then there was a trail ride the next year and the next, and somehow I got started bringing donuts and coffee for breakfast, and I just put it on my calendar every year to help with the trail ride. I was working at the time. Of course, Mary's worked all this time too. We're both fairly recently retired, but when I finally retired 6 years ago, then I got a whole lot more involved and a whole lot more legwork and running around, and we got more sponsors and silent auction items from the merchants, and so I really got very involved the last 6 years. But I had a friend who had MS, and he went from being able to run a backhoe in a business with his dad to being kind of wobbly, to needing crutches, to the wheelchair, to being bedridden, to a nursing home. And from what I understand, he had the worst form of MS. It was very severe, and then he did die. And he died at a young age. He was in his 40s, and it was horribly tragic. So that's why it's a project near and dear to my heart.
For anybody that hasn't heard about the MS Trail Ride, what exactly is it?
The MS Trail Ride is a fundraiser for multiple sclerosis for the National Multiple Sclerosis Society. The funds that are raised here are sent to the National Society and used for research for the cause and cure, because there is no known cause or cure. In the 1990s, they developed about 3 medications that help slow the progression of the disease. However, most of them have really bad side effects. So our hope is that in the very near future, the cause and cure will be found, and that's what we're working for.
Okay.
And it got started because you and your husband were members of a group, and you can tell the story how it got started as a trail ride.
We had a support group here for MS, and the National Society has an office in Fort Worth, and the ladies came down and asked us if we would be interested in having a walk. And one of the girls said, "No, this is cowboy country. We ride, we don't walk." So that's how we got started, and we were the first and only trail ride sanctioned by the National Multiple Sclerosis Society as an official event.
Oh, wow.
And just in the last about 4 or 5 years, we've added the 5K run and the 1-mile walk, because there are other people who would like to come out and enjoy the wonderful 1,200-acre ranch that we're on, as well as those that do ride. So we have started having that also.
Wow.
And it's definitely a fundraiser, and so there's a lot of trail rides that people go on that you pay a fee, and they either tell you how much they want, or they'll just take whatever you feel like you want to donate. In our brochure and on our website, we we mentioned that we would like people to try to raise $50 at least or donate. And if when they do, they get a free T-shirt and all the riders get a goodie bag. And but don't just stop at $50 because it's very easy to get $100 or $200 if you just ask your friends, neighbors, family, coworkers. And it's not so many dollars. It's not a pledge like so many dollars per mile. It's just a flat write out a check or give some money as a donation to the national. Well, if you make a check, it's Cowboy Capital MS Trail Ride for us to deposit it. But if you have 10 friends and they each give you $10, you've got $100 right there. Yeah. And so we really want to push raising funds because that's the whole reason we're doing this.
Okay, so when and where is this event this year? And I don't know if y'all keep up with the attendance, but how many attendants were for last year that you want to see this year come around?
Last year we had 100 riders, and this year we want more. Every year we want more.
Yes.
So it's always held at the Tarleton's Honeywell Ranch. That's a ranch just about 5 miles outside of Stephenville. And it's always on the first Saturday in May. In the very first year we had it in April, and we had the coldest day of the year, including any winter days that year. And everybody came out with 50,000 layers on, and you could barely walk. And so we decided maybe we better move this to a little later date. So the next 20 years it's been on the first Saturday in May.
And how many sponsors do y'all have currently for the event?
Right now I think we have, I could count them real quick, but we have about 35 sponsors. We started out in the beginning with maybe 6 to 10, and we're up to 35, and that's all local merchants who are generous enough to make a donation of $250, and when they do that, then we're sure to put their logos on the back of our brochures, and on the back of our shirts we have all the sponsors' names listed. So our brochure is getting pretty crowded, but we can always use more. We're always looking for people that are interested in helping out, because anybody that donates as a sponsor just helps defer the costs and helps the money, every penny that's raised in donations actually going to the society.
What is the process to sign up or get involved for the trail ride?
Two different ways. We have these brochures, and if people are the old-fashioned way, like to do it with pen and paper, you can fill this out and either turn it in the day of the ride or send it in ahead of time. We have a website that we're really proud of. It's ccmstrailride.com. You can register online there, but it's not required to register ahead of time. You can register the day of the ride, and that's fine too. There's 2 release sheets on our website, and there's a donation form on our website that will help you to raise money. And so you can print all that stuff off and either email it to our trail ride email address or bring them with you that day, or just wait that day. We'll have stuff there, so you don't have to plan ahead of time and be pre-registered. You can do it the day of.
Wow, that sounds like an easy registration.
It goes faster if they're pre-registered, but they do not have to pre-register.
Okay.
And another thing about this event, you never know about the weather, and when you're talking about people who have to load up horses and prepare, and people are typically looking at the weather reports on the DFW news, and that never really indicates what we're having in Stephenville, because we're an hour southwest, and they can be having bad stuff up there, and we're just fine down here. We've never had to cancel because of bad weather. It might have been kind of tricky weather, but never have had to cancel. And so our numbers are on our phone numbers are on the website and in the brochures. If anybody ever wants to call ahead of time and ask us what the weather is doing in Stephenville that day, we can stick our noses out and tell them, come on, you know.
The expectation of having a nice weather outlook for that day. Is there going to be any barbecue or anything like that? I mean, I'm a big barbecue person, so.
Yes, we have barbecue brisket. We have with all the fixings: beans, potato salad, coleslaw, pickles,
Sausage.
onions, sausage, and then a whole table of desserts. So we have a
Drinks.
feast for lunch.
Feasts for lunch and any rewards afterwards?
Yes, we hand out rewards to while they're riding, the people that registration, the people that I'm working with that I don't ride. We add up all the money so we'll know how much we brought in, and then we'll know who brought in the most. The top 3 individuals that brought in the most money will receive a prize. And then we also have teams of 3 or more, and then the teams, the largest team, and the
Most spirit.
most spirited team, and what's the other one?
The biggest team.
The biggest.
Yeah.
I said the largest.
Yeah, largest.
And for the largest team, most spirited, and the top fundraising team.
Yeah.
And also we have a prize for the youngest rider, the oldest rider, and the rider that traveled the furthest to get there.
Oh, wow.
So we present all those during lunch, and then we also have our silent auction. And we have a live auction, and sometimes our live auction is really fun because we get some people bidding against each other, and they all have a good time. So
Oh, wow.
We
That
also
sounds
have, and of course, all that's free. The barbecue is absolutely free. And we also have a breakfast that's provided. This year, the Cowboy Church of Erath County is going to set up, and they're going to be providing fresh breakfast burritos for us, which is great. We've had burritos in the past, and but this is somebody new that's offered to help us out, and, which is wonderful. And the Knights of Pythias are all responsible for the barbecue lunch, so everything in that part is free. And we also have snacks that halfway through the ride in the morning we'll have a little break, and they'll have maybe apples and carrots for the horses, and crackers and water, and maybe some candy bars or something for the riders. And so, you know, you're not going to go away hungry.
Oh, wow. Most
At all.
definitely. I'd be there for the barbecue. Woo. Okay, lastly, where can we find more information over the trail ride and the 5K run walk? I mean, again, registration and the dates are very important.
yes, again, that's on our website, and it's on our Facebook page. And then you can email me, and I'll get more information to you. So.
And
you
all
can come.
around town, look for these orange flyers.
Yes.
And we have bigger poster too for people that have room for the big poster in their windows. And the brochures will be on a lot of countertops in a lot of the merchants. And so this is the old-fashioned way of getting the word out, but we're trying to bring ourselves into the 21st century and get on social media too. So that's really probably the more effective way these days.
Yeah.
But a lot of our riders are older riders too, so still need pen and paper.
Exactly. I would like to thank Mrs. Howard and Miss Diane Tidwell for being here at Texan TV. I'm Rebecca Hernandez. Back to you, anchors. Thank you so much.
Oh,